Good morning, everybody. It's Pastor John with another edition of Monday Morning Quarterback. So yesterday we concluded our sermon series on walking the walk, and I talked about cultivating a giving heart, a heart which I believe is closer to the heart of God. And one of the claims that I made is that because we were created in the image of God, giving of ourselves, of our time, our talents, our resources, whatever, giving is a part of our essential nature. And because of that, when we give, we become more of our true selves, the self that God created us to be. We become closer to the heart of God, if you will. And so that is why God, in God's grace, has created multiple paths to that experience. And by that I mean, I have been talking a lot during this series about consciousness. I've said every week, how we see the world affects how we are in the world. And this whole series is about learning to see as Jesus sees and learning to be as Jesus is. And that is all a result of consciousness. So that means we're operating from the inside, heart and head, inside outward. So we're working on our consciousness, our Christian consciousness, to develop a way of seeing and being in the world. However, the inside out is not the only path that God allows us to grow with. So, for example, God also gives us sort of an outside-in path. And that's what we were talking about yesterday. A path where by doing things, we are impacting our consciousness, which then will impact the way we do things in the world, which again impacts our consciousness. And so you see it becomes this redemptive cycle, if you will. Okay? And so, and then, our life becomes a pattern of moving closer to the heart of God. Methodists call this process sanctification. Okay? But here's the thing. We can operate it from the inside out, meaning we work on our consciousness, which affects our actions, or we can practice it from the outside in, work on our actions, which affects our consciousness. God is at work in us in both of those processes. So like in 12-step programs, oftentimes they'll say something like, fake it till you make it. That doesn't mean behave disingenuously. What it means is behave in a way that cultivates sobriety. And you will cultivate within yourself sobriety. When John Wesley, the founder of the Methodist movement, was going through a crisis of faith, his friend George Whitefield told him, preach faith until you have it. And then because you have it, you will preach it. Those are examples of what I mean when I say working from the outside in. And so, you do the action because somewhere inside of you, you're choosing faith. Then that action itself changes your consciousness, changes your outlook, and then helps you see more faithfully, which helps you be more faithfully in the world. So what I would really love us to think about today is sort of this redemptive cycle of seeing and being, and how what we see affects who we are, but also who we are affects how we see, and the importance of both of those things. And, as I said, we concluded our series, Walking the Walk, with this particular sermon. And I leave you with this thought, when we learn how to see and how to be as Christ sees or Christ is, and we let that pattern, that cycle work within ourselves, we will truly come to understand what it means to be walking the walk with Christ. And we will discover that we are transformed, that we grow. that we are made new in Christ. I hope you have a wonderful week, my friends. God bless.